Hello, everyone. I want to go over the final project with you. Just one more time. I'm happy to answer questions also if this is not clear. So I want to show you where I am in the course. I'm in chronic disease unit 3, and then assignments due in this unit. And at the very bottom of that is the disease project, and it shows you the peer and teacher scoring tools. 10 points come from your peers, 50 points come from me. So I'm going to open this up. I'm not going to download it, but I wanted to go over some important issues with you. Maybe I am going to download it. No matter what format or genre you're using, you must cover all these points. In some cases, some of these things do not relate to what you're doing, and I should have been giving you feedback along the way. The first thing you have to cover is history and pathophysiology. Some of you are getting this feedback. You cannot say, okay, it was identified in 2000 BCE and then start talking about 2024. You should be identifying the major things that have happened in historical context and what is happening at the cellular level in the disease in relationship to your population. Epidemiology is incidence, prevalence, morbidity, mortality, risk factors, and at-risk population. You are supposed to limit your disease to only one specific group of people. And that is so when you're talking about the incidence, prevalence, mortality, morbidity, and risk factors, you are addressing that specific group of people. Again, remember this project is to your population, not to us about your population. You are creating a project that you would actually use with a population that you would give to them or that they would use. Diagnosis and treatment, social determinants of health and prevention, effects of the disease, and your role. And so let's go through here. Reference list, spelling and grammar. Okay, here we go. So the history and pathophysiology, we're looking about what is happening. The pathophysiology should be at a 300 level. You shouldn't say these broad statements like it affects the brain. You should be talking at a cellular level. However, what you're discussing needs to be geared toward your population. If you're dealing with people who have English as a second language, you're not going to be using scientific terms. You need to get what you're using into terminology that the normal person can understand. Then epidemiology, you need actual data for high-risk population and specific risk factors. I've been giving you feedback on this as well. If you're having trouble finding the data, please let me know. Sometimes we have to make inferences, but for a lot of you, I've been giving you links if you don't have the data you need. If you don't have the data and I have not given you a link, please reach out so I can help you find what you need. Again, you're addressing one specific population. So if you are addressing rural youth who are gay, then you need data about that population. Again, you're going to be addressing the population directly, so you're not going to be giving them data in scientific terms, but in terms that are relevant to them. Like, did you know that people in your group are 5 times as likely to have this than other people? You want it to be addressing that group of people. Diagnosis and treatment. How are people to know if they have it? How will they go about getting diagnosed? How will it be treated? For prevention, you're going to address prevention with SDOH. So you must choose 3 of the social determinants of health and talk about how they would address those issues in relationship to them personally and whatever disease you're doing. This is difficult, but it's important because, again, you're addressing a group of people. Each social determinant of health is worth 3 points. It's over here. I will change. 3 points. Do not discuss all 5 because for most of you, all 5 of them are not as relevant. There are usually 3 that are very relevant to each disease and or population. So you should be addressing those social determinants of health as they are relevant to your disease and your population. Finally, you should be talking about the effects, not finally, next, you should be talking about the effects of the disease that it has on them and people around them. Again, you're talking to them directly, and you want to make your language appropriate. So you don't want to say, when you get this disease, people are not going to want to be around you. You might say, when if someone in your group develops this disease, some things that you might experience or some things they might experience are social isolation, people being cautious to come around. You're talking directly to a group about their disease. And you're going to talk about how it affects people near them. And these are some examples of things that you should be discussing: physical, emotional, social, spiritual, financial, and there may be one or two other things that are relevant to them and their significant others. Now, finally, your role. You need to explain your role in dealing with the disease with the person and the significant others. You must identify your role or the major that you're using. Again, you're not going to say to them, nurses do this. You're going to say something along the lines that in healthcare, if you're dealing with a nurse, these are the kind of things you can expect your nurse to help you with. If you're dealing with a public health educator, whatever. But whatever this role is that you discuss, it must be related to your major or to your career aspirations as you leave the college. And then your reference list, spelling and grammar. Your reference list really should be nearly perfect by the end of the semester. And if not, I don't have a lot of patience for having a lot of errors by the end of the semester. If you're confused about referencing and how to set up your reference list, please reach out. Towson University does have a very good list of ways to cite, and also you can ask a librarian for help. You can also get in touch with the Writing Center, and they will meet with you virtually to talk about citation in APA format. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out. My biggest comment to you is to remember that your project, the genre, the format, they are to the population that you have chosen. And the biggest way to lose points on this project is to create something that is to us about a population rather than creating it directly to the population. Also, please note there is a time where you have the option. It is not required to submit a draft of your final project, and I'll give you feedback before it's submitted for a grade. If you have questions, again, please reach out.